Everything so far has been about querying or editing data that already exists in Salesforce. In this episode, we show how Claude can pull multiple live data points together and apply a clear business rule to them. The point is not that the hosted MCP server suddenly runs custom Apex in this setup. The point is that the standard query tools are already enough to support grounded, useful decision when the rule itself lives in Salesforce as ordinary records. Here's the real story of the standard hosted MCP server. It gives us query tools, search tools, related record, retrieval, object schema, and current user context. That is a narrower surface than custom business logic as a tool, but it is still powerful. If the rule itself is stored as Salesforce data, in our case, financing rule record, Claude can query that policy first, then query the live deal data and stay grounded the whole way through. So let's go into Salesforce. So in Salesforce, we have got an object financing rule. There we have created certain rules called tier 1, where minimum deal size is 25K. We have tier 2, where minimum deal size is 50K. And then we have a rule name fallback not eligible, where there is no minimum deal size. Let's go back to presentation. So if the rule itself is stored as Salesforce data in our case as financing rule, Claude can query that policy first, then query the live real data and stay grounded with the whole way through. So let's take an example. Northwind offers financing on solar and battery purchases, and reps wants to know whether a deal qualifies. The answer depends on the opportunity amount plus related account information like industry and credit tier. The difference now is that the policy itself also lives in Salesforce as queryable rule records, which means Claude can read both the rules and the deal from the same hosted MCP surface. Let's see how Claude is going to work. Claude will query the active financing rule and pull the exact criteria. I'll show you also how this is going to work. It will look into the fields like credit. Let's look into the rule. Credit tier, then it is going to look at the minimum deal size, exclude industry, and the fallback outcome. Next, Claude is going to look up the actual opportunity record, specifically Acme Corp financing review, and pulls the deal amount plus a related account reference. Then it will follow the relationship to the account and retrieves the remaining input the rule depends on. This is where the related record tool becomes really useful. We are not flattening the org mentally or pretending everything lives on one object. We are using the relationship model Salesforce already has. Let's try to make the structure explicit. Claude will have both ingredient it needs, the active financing rule record and the live opportunity plus account values. Claude is not inventing the rule. A human owns the rule, but that rule is stored in Salesforce in a readable format. Claude's job is to read it and apply it. Now let's see this in action. So I'll go to Claude and I'm going to ask it to, let me just show you. Let me first go to Claude. I'm saying to Claude, read the active financing rule record, then tell me whether opportunity Acme Corp financing review qualifies for financing. Show me the rule and input you used. I'll say allow once. We are explicitly telling Claude to read the policy record first and to surface both the matching rules and the live inputs, which makes the answer viewable instead of magical. So Claude is making use of the tools which it has to get the object schema. I'll say allow once. Still running. It's going to do the SQL for the tool. Now let's look at the output that Claude has given us. It has listed the three records that we have in the rule: tier 1, tier 2, fallback, any excluded industry, result eligible, not eligible, based on the opportunity record that I have passed to it. It has specifically saying that which input it used. So account credit tier is tier 2, account industry manufacturing, and opportunity of 68K. And then it is giving a walkthrough of which rule applies. So tier 1 doesn't apply because the account is tier 2. Similarly, it says it qualifies for account financing under the tier 2 minimum. So tier 2 deals qualify at 50K plus unless the industry is hospitality. So all this rule is defined by a Salesforce user as a record, and Claude is able to interpret that. So as a Salesforce rep, I can communicate in a conversational fashion to understand whether a particular opportunity is ready for financing or not. Now, let's go back. Now, let's look into this is something that we just explained. Now, let's check into another one. Okay, what about the opportunity Sunrise Hospitality? Let's copy this and ask Claude. This is the negative test path. We are asking about the opportunity Sunrise Hospitality Solar Refresh. The expectation is that Claude should reject it and explain why. Let's wait for it. It's telling me what are the input use. Account tier 2, hospitality, 40K. And it said does not qualify because it falls through to the fallback not eligible rule. It fails rule 2. Okay. It's the same pattern, different data, different answer. That proves we are not just showing a one side happy path. There is no single field in the Salesforce that says eligible yes. The answer appears only after Claude reads the active rule records, gather the relevant opportunity and account values, and reason over them together. So while this standard hosted MCP setup is not exposing custom Apex tool, it is still supporting a more meaningful class of work that raw lookups. This pattern is broadly useful. Lead qualification rubrics, financing or discount guardrails, escalation checklist, any decision where the criteria are explicit and reviewable and the inputs live in Salesforce. And if the criteria repeats, store them as queryable Salesforce data instead of burying them in tribal knowledge. The caution is equally important for anything high stakes. Keep a human in the loop and ask Claude to show the exact rule and input is used. Episode 3 and 4 covered querying, updating, creating, and editing record. Episode 5 add a new layer, use live Salesforce data plus rule records as the input to a business decision. This is a real upgrade in usefulness, even without any custom tool exposure. It teaches the audience how to get more out of the standard hosted MCP surface they can actually see in their org today. Let's recap. We read active financing rule record from Salesforce, pulled live opportunity and account data, and return a grounded answer with the exact rule and inputs used. That gave us the reasoning pattern we need for episode 6, where the point is not a single answer, but a full business workflow that mixes querying, judgment, and rights.